It is that time again. Welcome to Montreal, the French-speaking part of Canada for round 7 of the season, the Canadian Grand Prix at the Montreal Street Circuit, located on the St. Lawrence River on the man-made island Île Notre Dame. The 4th of 5 street circuits to be on the OC calendar, and the 5th of 9 circuits to be on the OC calendar every year since it started. 5 teams have won here over the past 13 seasons. Ferrari and Mercedes, should say, having won here 4 times, with McLaren winning just twice, 2 behind. Now, of course, there'll be 70 laps here. Circuit length of 4.361 kilometers, 14 corners, several infamous corners such as the infamous pit exit, the infamous final chicane, Wall of Champions. Lots of mistakes to be had here. Now, it has felt like a while since the last race in Monaco, where yes, you need to go watch that one out. That's what I'll say. It has been a while since that race. Of course, we had a break, and then the week after we had the Indy 500. And if you haven't watched the ending to that race, I thoroughly recommend you go and watch it, because it was unbelievable. Now, the tyres we'll be using in this race will be the soft tyres, so that should make for a interesting race. And free practice results you can see here. Undercut topping it by 2/10 ahead of Laura Chung, Lisa Willows, Gal, McKenzie, Lopez, Roque, Catalan, De Rosa, and Federi completing top 10. Less than a second separating about the top 12 cars there. But anyway, that practice doesn't matter. This does. Qualifying, and it was Joseph Willows who decimated the lap record with a 1:10.5 to beat the previous lap record holder, Nicolas Gal, to pole position. On row 2 of the grid, we have Franco Lopez for Mercedes and Jay McKenzie for Renault. What a performance that Jay McKenzie has put in so far. Row 3, we have Undercut for Mercedes and Franco Gamba for Red Bull. On row 4, 7th and 8th, we have Laura Chung for Ferrari and Paolino Tomaselli 8th for McLaren. On row 9 of the grid, we have, row 9th place and 10th place on the grid. We have 2 Toro Rossos of Catalan and Kupok. On row 6, we have De Rosa for McLaren and Evan Byrne for Renault. On row 7, we have George Roque for Racing Point and Jared Fosbury for Haas. That is row 7 of the grid. Row 8, we have Roland Moiti for Racing Point and Andrea Federi 16th for Alfa Romeo Racing Ferrari. On row 9 of the grid, we have Lee Campana for Williams and Maxime Titkov 18th for Manor. On row 10 of the grid, we have Chris Chetfield for Haas and Gabriel Gomez 20th for Alfa Romeo. Not the greatest qualifier from either of those two drivers, really, you have to say. Felix Sontag 11th for Williams on row 11, 21st position, and Rosetta Martinez last on the grid. Now, the weather for this race, it will be a dry race. However, there is a chance of rain, a 40% chance of rain. It looks like we are going to get rain towards the end of the race. This should make it very interesting indeed. So, as we look now at Joseph Willows on the front row with Nicolas Gal alongside him, as the 5 lights are now coming on here at Montreal. The 5 lights are now on, and it's a fairly long hold, and finally we're underway. And who's to get the jump into the first corner? It looks like Willows has made a pretty decent start, and he's going to get ahead of Gal and keep the lead into the first corner, and yes, he does. Gal in second, then the Mercedes third, and McKenzie in fourth. That's the Mercedes off, I believe Franco Lopez in third. But Willows keeping the lead at the start, doing exactly what he needed to do to come through the first chicane. Lopez in third. McKenzie already got car on his back. And Laura Chung, and there's Tomaselli battling with the Toro Rosso there of Matteo Catalan. As we look through the rest of the field coming through, and there has been contact actually, and that is, I think, Maxime Titkov, who has got damage, and it looks to be from the Alfa Romeo of Gabriel Gomez. So not a good start for either of those two drivers. Meanwhile, Nicolas Gal all over the back already of Joseph Willows heading through towards the hairpin. And can he make the move there? He's in a slipstream, but I don't think he's going to be quite close enough. And he stays behind him. Willows moves slightly to the right, but already a gap forming between the top 3, or top 2 even. And then Lopez on his own in third. McKenzie already having to defend from a Mercedes and a Ferrari behind him. As we're coming on now to the back straight, heading towards the final chicane and the Wall of Champions. We'll see if any moves get made here. Meanwhile, Undercut trying to make a move on the inside of Jay McKenzie. This is the battle for 4th position coming into the chicane. As we look now on board from Tickle, we'll see what happened to him on the first lap of the race. So he was running at 18th, and just gets absolutely pummeled from behind by Gomez. You can see how much he had to twitch there. And I think Gomez got caught out by the fact, I suppose, maybe of the way Tickle was slowing down there. So unfortunate for those two. Meanwhile, we're looking at Willows, who's extended his lead on lap 8 to about 1.5 seconds. Meanwhile, looking at Evan Byrne trying to pass David Kupok into the chicane. Can't quite do it. Meanwhile, the two Racing Points there battling side by side, and Roque went wide there and Mojin went past him, so he made a move there. So unfortunately for Roki, just not been his season. Mojin overtaking him there into the chicane, and luckily there was actually no damage done. Unfortunately, the curves didn't launch him into oblivion, which is lucky. Meanwhile, we're looking at, this is Rosetta Martinez, who's behind Chris Chatfield. There's Lopez at the moment running on his own in third, and meanwhile Martinez trying to go past Chatfield, but I don't think he's going to quite have it, and besides, he's pitting anyway. Chatfield still does decide to defend anyway. Roland Moichin is also into the pits for Racing Point, as now Martinez does go into the pits, and there we go. So he's in, and let's see how quick this up will be for the Filipino driver. So as he comes in, change all 4 tyres, it could be a 2 or 3. 2 is probably the best way to go around here. But we'll see at the moment. You can see, look at the gap actually. Lopez to Mackenzie, 16 seconds even. So that proves that, you can see, look at Mackenzie still holding up these guys. Doing a great job, but it's really affecting Carr and Chung, and also Franco Gambra as well, being stuck behind this big queue. So once they get past, then the floodgates are going to open, but they still can't get past Mackenzie. And we're 14 laps in, so it's proving to be very difficult overtaking with these cars. Meanwhile, Chatfield getting a little bit twitchy coming through the chicane, the penultimate chicane on the circuit, but managing to keep it on the road as he comes through the hairpin. So he makes it through there. He's a little bit behind Lee Campana in the Williams in front of him. Of course, Chatfield, who managed to get a point at the last round in Monaco. It was a dramatic race. Armar Carr winning, stealing the win, you have to say, from under Franco Lopez's nose, having Lopez having damage after Byrne went into the wall, and then the debris, Lopez hit it. So it will be still a bitter pill to swallow for Lopez, and we'll hope for better this one. It doesn't look like he's got the pace at the moment to win. Meanwhile, Carr getting a little bit out of shape there as he's trying to stick behind Mackenzie, staying in the dirty air of the Renault, and just still unable to make the move. And Carr's going to be going on for quite a while now, so you can see he's all over the back of Mackenzie, but just unable with how wide these cars are to make the move. So he's right in the slipstream of Mackenzie, and he might try something possibly into the hairpin. I'm not sure, will he? No, he's just not able to do it. Meanwhile, behind, it looked to be a move from the Toro Rosso there, and and now, because of Carr failing to make the move, Chung has moved up into 5th. So great move by Laura Chung there, and could she even possibly get through past Mackenzie as well? But Carr was mugged there, really. Tried once again to get past Mackenzie, failed, and Chung decided to have a go herself and made the move stick. Meanwhile, Willows just gradually extending the lead. It's 2.4 seconds to Miguel Gascal in second. Meanwhile, Frank Gamma now trying to get past Armar Carr, coming down the front straight, and he might even get past by the Toro Rosso here, Catalan, who's on his inside, and Catalan does make it through up into 7th position. So Catalan once again having a good race for Toro Rosso. He has definitely shone this season. No one expected him to even be near the top tier, but he is, and he's taking it every step of the way. He's doing very, very well indeed. Meanwhile, Miguel Gascal is going to be pitting this lap, so I wonder, could he possibly try the undercut on Joseph Willis to try and take the lead of this race? So as he comes down the back straight, we're on lap 15 of 70. We've seen a few overtakes, not that many so far. But as Gal is set to come to the pits, could he do the undercut on Willis? The big question is, of course, well, can he? But also the other question is, can he do it without traffic? Because if he gets held up in traffic, then he can pretty much kiss that win goodbye, because I don't see Willows at this moment in time relinquishing the lead. So Gal now pits, and fuel-wise, that could be a 2 or 3, I'm not entirely sure, but we'll see. Comes out of the pits. That was a 6.8 second stop, a pretty quick stop in Formula 1 terms, and that's probably about what in real life that the teams will want the drivers to do to ruin the fun. But anyway, so we look at Gal coming out, and where does he come out? Does he come out actually ahead of Mackenzie? And the answer is yes, he does. So that is interesting. He does come out ahead of Mackenzie. That is good news for him. That shows how I guess you could say how slow Mackenzie was, but he's just not as quick as the top guys, but he's holding his own. Meanwhile, Joseph Willows is coming in for his first stop. Can he stay ahead of Nicolas Gal? Lopez will take the lead of this race, being well behind those. Lopez now takes the lead. Gal is just coming down the chicane now, but I think Willows has this comfortably still in the bag. Gal coming through the chicane. Willows, I think, is just about coming out to the pit exit right about now. So yet Willows will still comfortably have the lead. You can see Gal just coming across the line on the def panel at the top, And yep, so Willows pretty much keeps the same gap as he did before. So, unfortunately for Gal, did not work. Meanwhile, Carr is trying to get past Mackenzie, who Chung has actually passed. And now Mackenzie has been overtaken by Gamba and by Armar Carr. So Mackenzie has made a mistake. And so finally now, as I said before, the floodgates have now opened. So we'll need to have a replay and see how that occurred. But it looked like Mackenzie got a bad run coming out of the final chicane there. And just, yeah, lost all the momentum. And lost some positions. We got Matteo Catalan into the pits. But as we look at Laura Chung now in the pits, and she's going quite long on this stint, so it's clear that she is going to be doing the 2-stop. Not a particularly quick stop either, 9.2. We'll see how this works out for Chung. She'll be quick at the end, but she'll definitely be very slow on this current stint. So as she now comes out of the pits from her first stop, and she's going to come out, looks like actually might even come up between behind Matteo Catalan as she comes out, and the answer is and Catalan has essentially almost jumped Chung in the stop, and Chung trying to get past Catalan there but failing, so has not worked out very well for Laura Chung. But meanwhile we look at Joseph Willows still in the lead and gaining, well, he will be in the lead once Lopez pits, and Lopez actually seemed to get very close to the wall there. I think he may have made a mistake, I'm not sure, or maybe they actually got a little bit closer to the wall than I thought, but anyway, it looked like he made a mistake, but I think I was wrong. But Willows is now gaining on Lopez, who's going to be pitting in probably about 3 laps time, I'll say. So at the moment, it doesn't look like he is going to have the pace for the win, Lopez. It'll certainly at the very least have a podium, but he will want more. Meanwhile, we look at Mackenzie coming into the chicane, who is definitely struggling on these tyres, going very close to the wall there. And Tomaselli is going to make a move through past Mackenzie up into 5th there. Mackenzie actually is on a long stint, so that's why he was so slow essentially. So it looks like he's going to be doing the 1-stop. Unfortunately not working out for him at the moment. He's now he's finally lost positions. It's all going wrong for him. And meanwhile his teammate Byrne is in the pits. Chung is obviously still trying to get past Catalan. There's Byrne coming out. I think Chatfield was in. Chung trying to get past Catalan into the first corner. Not working there. So she's going to have to try something else. We were looking at Gamba coming out the pits. He was quite low down the order, stuck behind that big queue of cars. Eventually got past Mackenzie, but not been a particularly great race for him anyhow. Meanwhile, we look now at the battle for what will be the lead of this race. Lopez trying to hold off Willows coming into the hairpin, and he does for now, but of course Lopez will be pitting very soon anyway. Although Lopez went a little bit wide there. Coming out of the chicane, we've seen cars hit the wall before going wide, but fortunately that didn't happen this time. So we look at Joseph Willows coming through in the slipstream of Franco Lopez. Is he going to make a move into the chicane? He's just about close enough. Is he going to make it through? No, and Lopez is going to hold the position. Could be good news for Gal, who couldn't even close up as Lopez just about gets away without getting any damage there. Into the wall, we look at Roland Moitian in the racing point coming through. And so let's see, he's got Franco Gamba, who is behind him, I think. Yes, and no, Chung hasn't got past him. Oh, what's happened here? Oh my word, something has happened there, and that is the dreaded pit exit. And Federi is out, and he's taken, I think that was the Manor with him of Titkov. And yep, just you can see that coming a mile off, and the first incident at the pit exit has happened. Titkov and Federi, and they are both out of the Canadian Grand Prix. Meanwhile, David Kupok is in the pits for his first stop. Willows once again all over the back of Lopez, and I think Gal has actually closed up right to the back of them now that Willows has been held up, but Lopez will be pitting very soon, and I say very soon, I mean this lap. Willows trying to get through into the hairpin there. As good as for Gal, as you can see, he is caught right up to the back of Willows, so Gal will need to take this opportunity because Lopez is pitting now. Well, they've got this slow Haas in front. I wonder, will Lopez lap him before the pits? He looks like he's going to. This could be close, but no, he gets past the Haas there just before the pits. That is a relief, and he gets into the pits, lapping the Haas there of Chatfield. Now Willows will go past Chatfield, and or at least he'll try to. He can't do it that side. He'll try it this side, and finally he does. So now Joseph Willows retakes the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix. So into the pits is Franco Lopez for his first stop. He'll be doing a 2. We're looking at De Rosa all over the back of Lean Campana at the moment in the points, but Campana I don't believe has pitted yet. So as they come through the hairpin, Campana once again getting very close to the wall. No damage done, fortunately. As I said, we've seen incidents there in the past. Meanwhile, we're looking at Matteo Catalan, who is on the back of De Rossa. Chung, who's obviously dropped back, unable to get through past Catalan, who did a big undercut. Catalan once again trying to get past De Rossa into the chicane, unable to make the move stick. Meanwhile, Willow's leading this race because he actually has Gal's not really closing, so I think it was just simply the fact that Willows was held up in traffic there that allowed Gal to get close to him. Meanwhile, De Rossa battling with Catalan there for 9th position. Meanwhile, Armand Carr is in for, I believe, his first stop of the race, actually. And so where is he going to come out onto the circuit? And always actually had to be held up. He's had to wait for the McLaren there of Tomaselli to go in, so that is going to affect him. So the question is actually, he's going to come out behind Mackenzie. Well, I knew that anyway, because Mackenzie hadn't pitted yet, but we'll see. Where will he come out onto the circuit? And he's going to come out in, it looks like P5? Yes, P5. So it'll be in clear air, which is actually good for Carr. Coming ahead of De Rossa, so he'll only have Mackenzie in front of him, who's not pitting for a few laps yet, so he might get held up a bit if he can't overtake him. Although, yeah, it'll be a bit of a deja vu, actually. Just realised, but Mackenzie has to pit, and he'll only be pitting once, so once Carr gets to him, he'll need to hope that Mackenzie, well, he'll need to use the best of his fresher tyres as soon as possible to get away from him. Meanwhile, Jared Fosbury has just come out of the pitch because he pit exits on the board there, so he comes out, and so does Lean Campana. Actually, he's finally pitted. Meanwhile, this is Gamba with Tomaselli all over the back of him, the two Italians battling here for the lower reach of the point at the moment for 10th position. This is not the position that Frank Gamba would have wanted to be fighting for, that is for sure. So as we look at Carr coming through the chicane there, I don't know what happened, but they finally got past, I think, the Toro Rosso there. Chung just about squeezing through, so they'd get past, that was, I think, Matteo Catalan, so I think a mistake was made by the Italian driver Catalan, and finally the two experienced drivers, Carr and Chung, are through. So we now look at Gal, who at the moment is in second. The gap to Lopez is about 20 seconds. Gal is pitting soon, but I would imagine he would still be going to the end. I would think. I'd be surprised if he wasn't, to be honest. There's the Racing Point coming out of the pits there. Fortunately, right behind Gal, no damage done, although he's going to be a fresher tyre, so he'll probably want to get past Gal whenever he can. I'm not sure if that will be possible or not, but Gal will definitely not want this Racing Point to be pushing him around the circuit, essentially. But meanwhile, we're looking at Lopez there, running in third. Tomaselli once again trying in the hairpin to Franco Gamba, and it's just not currently working for him. So as we look at the two drivers coming on to the back straight, heading towards the hairpin, Gal in second, battling with the Racing Point to be unlapped. Tomaselli now on the inside of Franco Gamba, and no, he's not able to do it there. De Rossa, meanwhile, is in the pits for McLaren. Meanwhile, we're looking now at Joseph Willows, who at the moment the gap is about, I think it's about 4 seconds or whatever. And oh, Mackenzie, no, Mackenzie's going slowly, and it's a transmission failure. Jay Mackenzie is out of the Canadian Grand Prix, and you've got a feel for him, and he did a good job holding up everyone for as long as he did. And even though he made a few mistakes, he was keeping it relatively clean. But unfortunately for Mackenzie, his race is over at the halfway point of the race, which is ironic because this is about as long as he was going to before he pitted. But he is out. That is the third retirement of the Grand Prix, and Ronald Moyton is still being held up there behind Gal there. So we're looking at the battle between Martinez and the Williams there of Campana. Meanwhile, we're looking at Gamba once again battling with Paolino Tomaselli, and Tomaselli still unable to make the move, coming through the hairpin there. He'll probably try again on the straight. He'll be in the slipstream of the Red Bull, and he might actually try and make a move here. Look at how much speed he's gaining here in the slipstream, and Tomaselli's going to go to the inside. This could be a move into the chicane. Tomaselli just about alongside, and he's going to go for it, and Gamba goes across the chicane but keeps the position there. Tomaselli trying to make the move, and he's going to try and squeeze on the left, but Gamba squeezing him. Going to swap to the right, but it's not going to work, and Gamba just about keeps the position there from Tomaselli. And whew, that was a good battle there between the two. Meanwhile, Joseph Williams comes in for second stop. Will he go to the end? The answer is no. It will be a 3-stop actually. So I wonder if Gal will do the same. I imagine Gal will probably do the 3-stop too if they pitted like this. So, and he was going, I think, for another lap or so more. So I think, yeah, Gal is going to be doing the 3 like Joseph Williams, although If he's smart, he would do the 2, but we'll see what the team decides to do. I'll say if he's smart, it depends on the team really. But Willows comes out in a comfortable P2 and clear air to be seen. So now Gal does come in fact, a lap later. So let's see if Gal goes to the end or not, because this could be very interesting if he does, with regards to the race. And the answer is he 24. So no, he does go quite a long way, but he is not going to the end. He is pitting once more, as Joseph Willows actually sets the fastest lap of the race, a 111.8. So as Gal comes out of the pits, he will come out in a comfortable P2. Well, I say P2. He's come out P3 at the moment, but when Lopez pits, it will be P2. So actually, that makes me think. Actually, Lopez will probably have one more stop to go, I think. Meanwhile, this battle between Gamba and Tomaselli still rages on. As we look at Tomaselli once again coming onto the straight, and surely this is going to be the move now. Tomaselli trying to skip to the inside, but the camera is deciding to swap to this battle between Gal and Lopez. Tomaselli now is finally through as Gamba locks up coming through the chicane, and Tomaselli does make a move stick through on the inside of Gamba. Unfortunately, it's not been a great race for him, and as I said, this is the battle. This actually, come to think of it, is actually quite an important battle. For second place, Gal, who is obviously pitting once more, Lopez, who's pitting once more. Gal is going longer, but if Lopez holds up Gal, well, until this pit stop really, Lopez definitely has a chance of getting. And oh, there's a lock up there for the of Jared Fosbury. There is definitely a chance that Lopez could get second place here. And meanwhile, Fosbury defending vigorously there from Roland Moitian, but he had a big lock up coming into the chicane. Now, Willows comes to the pitch. You can see the sky is getting darker, and it does appear to be raining. So this is about time when the rain has now started to appear. But the big question is, will it be enough for wet tyres? As Willows comes in, and he goes to the end, but he is not pitting for wet. So obviously the track is not, wet enough for inters or the extreme wets. But it certainly is cloudy. There's certainly no sun anymore. That's for sure. So Willows comes in, and he might even still come out in the lead, actually, because Gal still hasn't got past Lopez. So as Willows comes out, and yep, he's still in the lead. It's going to be very comfortable for Joseph Willows at this moment in time if he can keep this pace up. And Lopez, who of course is still ahead of Gal, so Lopez now does have a legitimate chance of getting P2 as Gal wants to get all over the back of the Mercedes, unable to make the move stick. Meanwhile, De Rosa and Roland Moitian are in the pits. We're on board with Jared Fosbury, who's getting a little bit out of shape here coming through the second chicane. So we're now at less than 20 laps to go of this race. And let's see, we're on board with Fosbury. He's not too far off the points. He's 1.9 off Catalan. He's got the blue flag. That is going to be, I would imagine, for Joseph Willows behind. So as we look at Gal, who's all over the back of Lopez once again. Meanwhile, Tomaselli is in the pits for McLaren. That is going to be, I would imagine, his last stop of the race. So as we look at Willows coming down the back straight, it's been a pretty easy race for him, that is for sure. There's no doubt about it that it's gone his way, and he looks set, and I'm trying not to jinx it, it looks set for victory here at the Canadian Grand Prix. But as we've still got 17 laps to go, Lopez once again still defending the chicane, although he makes a little mistake there, makes a little lock-up, allows Gal to stick right onto the back of him. But at the moment, Gal still can't get through up into second position, and this is badly affecting him. It's not going his way at this moment in time. Meanwhile, Armar Carr is in the pits for his final stop of the race. This is for Mercedes, and of course, unfortunately for him, it's been a pretty... yeah, it's not been a particularly great race for him. Let's not beat around the bush. Not been particularly excited, although he got held up, of course, behind he got held up in the Mackenzie train early on. So I suppose in a way, it's not surprising he's not done as well as he could have done. But yeah, it could have been just so much better, really. That's all we could say about it, really. Meanwhile, we're looking at Matteo Catalan on the back of David Kupok. So this is the battle for P9, as we now swap to Willows coming through the hairpin, about to lap. Looks like Evan Byrne in front of him. The McLaren of Tomaselli also is behind these two as well. Now, of course, if Willows was to win this would be his second victory of the season. He won, of course, the Chinese Grand Prix, and managing to beat Laura Chung to the win. You know, David Kubok coming through, and Tomaselli, I think, did make the move past Catalan for ninth position there. And now Tomaselli might even try and make a move on Kubok here. He had a great run out the final corner there. Kubok having to defend coming into the first corner there, but that was a good move by Tomaselli. He's the one that's been doing the overtakes this race. Not been that many overtakes, but he's been doing a lot of them. Meanwhile, we're looking at Franco Lopez, who is now in the pits. This is his last stop of the race. Of course, Gal's now finally relieved. He'll be pitting probably about 2 laps or so after Lopez, but so that will be a big. That'll be very interesting to see who will get second place from this race. I thought it would have been comfortably for Gal, but with Lopez holding him up for so long, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. We're looking at the Williams, the lovely toothpaste liveried Williams. That was of Lean Campana, running in 15th position. So we've still got 13 laps to go. Catalan got a great run off the corner there, but just unable to squeeze through that gap to try and get back past Panino Tomaselli, the 2 Italians here fighting for ninth position there. You can see Catalan had an unbelievable run off of the hairpin there, but unable to make the move. Meanwhile, George Roque for Racing Point has come in for his final stop of the race. Meanwhile, Evan Byrne is battling with Roland Moichin here. This is for P13, but obviously that'll probably be P12 when if Roque is still in the pits by the time they come out. Willows at the moment in time, 14 seconds is the gap, and Jared Fosbury is also in on the same lap as Roque as well, as you saw just there. So we are looking at Willows, who at the moment has got a comfortable lead. Gal is second, but Gal will be pitting soon, and I think Lopez will be in second. Johan Martinez is set to come into the pits, but he's going to have to stick behind the Haas if he wants to get in. Fortunately, he does, and there was no major incident to be had there, which is certainly a relief. Meanwhile, Franco Lopez is coming through behind the Williams of Lean Campana, and now laps the Williams of Lean Campana. So at the moment, Lopez running in third, will not be one to be held up by any traffic at all. Laura Chung is setting the fastest lap for Ferrari there, 1:11.749, so the track is certainly still dry enough despite what we're seeing here. So Laura Chung at the moment is going to be the driver who gets the fastest lap point, so it proves actually the speed that Ferrari have had this race, really, if they can do that. Meanwhile, Matteo Catalan battling with Tomaselli, and of course he's going to be pitting this lap. So looks like Catalan will still get himself some points. Meanwhile, Franco Gamba is in the pits, and Roque there is set to running in the moment in 12th. Kupok is in as well. Whoa! And there was very close there to a collision coming out of the pits there between looks like I think there was Gamba and Moichin there. That was very, very sketchy indeed. Byrne there right behind these two, but fortunately no damage done. And so far this race, actually, pit lane exit wise, we've only had one crash, which is quite amazing really when you think about it. But unfortunately no damage done. But Gamba, unfortunately his race has just been pretty pitiful. That's the only way you can really describe how his race has gone. Meanwhile, Laura Chung at the moment in a pretty lonely 5th position. She's not going to get any more positions, but she is going to get one more point, which for her could mean a lot come the end of the season. So we've now just got 10 laps to go of this race, and at the moment, as I said, it is set to be a Joseph Willows victory. So at the moment, only 9 retirements in this race. Matteo Catalan is now in for his final stop of the race. Gal is also in now for his final stop, and Franco Lopez, I think, is going to come out ahead. So, where is Gal? Yep, there he is. And where is Lopez? And yep, Lopez is coming down the straight now. He is going to go past Gal. I think this could be... No, I think it's going to be comfortable for Lopez. Yep, he's already through. Gal down to third. And Gal probably will close up on Lopez at the end. But, to be honest, as the Toro Rosso comes out of the pits there, that was close. I just didn't want any incident to happen there. And it looks like Lopez has snatched second position from Nicolas Gal. I thought Gal would have that sewn up, but obviously not. Gal trying to get through past his traffic, and actually Gal laps his teammate Franco Gamba there, and Gamba gets a little bit of a hit up the back there from, I believe that was Evan Byrne. But Franco Gamba, his race compounded by being lapped by his own teammate. So unfortunately it's been a race that's gone from bad to worse really for the Italian. Not had a good race at all. Meanwhile, I think that was the racing point of Roach to get past Byrne there. But we are now on the final lap of this race, and it is Joseph Willows who is leading this race. It's been a very, very comfortable race for him. Had the lead at the start and never really looked like losing it. Gal just didn't have the pace for him, and of course it was, I don't think it was particularly easy that really, but yeah. Anyway, it's just going to be Willows' day. Totally dominated. No one was anywhere close to stopping Willows today. As Gal just didn't quite have the pace, and Lopez of course has managed to get second, which I don't think Gal will be too happy about. But as we look at Willows coming down the back straight for the 70th and the final time, and he is set to take victory here at the Canadian Grand Prix, get his second victory of the season, and get himself into title contention. Joseph Willows comes around the final corner, and Joseph Willows is going to win the Canadian Grand Prix. And what great performance it was by him, as well as the circuit now getting wet right at the end of the race, but everyone else still on dries. It doesn't matter. The race is now over. Sonta, that was in 17th, Martinez in 18th, Paolo Tomaselli, he'll take a very respectable 6th position. He'll be pretty happy with that. Good race from McLaren as well, 6th and 7th, getting themselves a good dose of points. Chatfield plumb last in 19th position, and there is Lopez, who is set to take second, ahead of Gal there, just in the background, close behind, but Lopez will be pretty happy to get second position out of this race as he comes across the line. So he'll take that for sure. Gal third. He still gets a podium, but he probably would have wished it would have been third. Would have been second, sorry. Roland Moichin set to cross line 8th, just beating Gamba. And Evan Byrne taking the last point, just ahead of Roke in 11th. And then Fosbury in 12th, Cupok 13th. And then Catalan 14th. And then Carr 4th. All those cars coming one behind the other. All in the same place on the same bit of track. Who'd have thought? Laura Chung coming across the line, the final car to finish in 5th position. But of course Chung, I believe, was the one who took the fastest lap, and yes, she did. So here are the full race results. Joseph was winning ahead of Franco Lopez in 2nd, Nicholas Gal 3rd, Amar Carr 4th, Laura Chung 5th, and then the rest of the top 10 being as follows: Paneo Tomaselli, Christopher De Rosa, Roland Moichin, Franco Gamba, and Evan Byrne in 10th. George Roach just missing out on the points in 11th. Laura Chung, as I said, getting the fastest lap point on 11.718. The rest of the order is as follows: Jared Fosbury 12th, David Cupok 13th, Matteo Catalan 14th, Link Capano 15th, Gabriel Gomez 16th, Felix Montag 17th, Rosetta Martinez 18th, and Chris Chatfield 19th, with Jamie McKenzie, Maxine Tikoff, and Andrea Federi retiring from this race. Only 3 retirements from this Grand Prix. So now we'll take a look at the drivers and constructors standings. So of course, Franco Lopez leading ahead of Joseph Willows, although the gap is narrowing. It is just 14 points. Amar Carr 30 points behind, just ahead of Nicholas Gow in 4th, Laura Chung 5th, Franco Gamba 6th, Thomas Lee 7th, Moichin 8th, Jerosson 9th, and Catalan 10th. Almost all of them getting points there, apart from Catalan. Really, so, well, pretty much, yeah, they all did get points, really, I have to say. Gomez 12th, Jamie McKenzie 13th, Evan Byrne moving above Felix Sontag at 14th, Chatfield 16th, Roke 17th, Cupok 18th, Fosbury 19th, Tikoff 20th, and Link Capano and Rosetta Martinez, so far the only 2 drivers yet to score a point this season. Now we'll take a look at the constructors, and the gap, it is just 21 points between Mercedes and Ferrari, so that is still quite close. Red Bull on their own in 3rd, McLaren the best of the rest in 4th, ahead of Racing Point in 5th, Alfa Romeo 6th, Toro Rosso in 7th, Renault in 8th, with Williams and Haas tied on 7 points, and then of course Manor last. And the driver of the day was given to Joseph Willows, no surprise there, for an absolute dominant performance. No doubt about it, so no surprise there. But there is some breaking news, and that the Canadian Grand Prix will not be on the OC calendar from the 2020 season onwards due to continuous issues with the circuit. Grand Prix will not be replaced, meaning that next season will have a 21 race calendar, next season instead of 22. I will add as well, it's because we did have to restart this race because of problems with the circuit. So that was the last ever Canadian Grand Prix, and not a particularly exciting one either. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget, the next race is the French Grand Prix. Don't forget to give the video a like. Check out all the links in the description. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you for the next round, the French Grand Prix at the Circuit Port Regard. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you later.